This video is a little run through on what I do on my leg day for training for a marathon. I usually do this after my long run on a Sunday as well. So first up, I begin with a hamstring curl. So I do this with each leg individually. So I'm targeting each leg, make sure that there's no kind of weakness or imbalance in between them. So it's 10 reps. I'm doing about 23 kilos on each leg here. And yeah, I did 4 sets of these. So obviously one leg after the other, make sure that it's the same weight for both and that I can manage the same amount of reps. If I was struggling or if I found it easy, I'd adjust the weight accordingly. Some days it feels a bit easier than others, but yeah, so generally I do it around this weight. It's more important to be in control and able to kind of bring it down smoothly rather than struggling to get the weight up and then back down. So then moving on to the seated leg extension. So this is good for the quads and for the knees. Again, I'm doing this with each individual leg, so I tend to just always start with my right leg, then move on to the left. But I always make sure that my left can't do the same that my right can do. My left is my weaker side. So if I was struggling again my left and in the reps, I would probably reduce the weight and then begin again on my right side. But yeah, 52 kilos on each leg here, and then 10 reps of that, 4 sets of those reps. So then moving on to the squats. So I do a few different variations of squats, as you'll sort of see throughout the video, but this is just your plain basic squat. So 90 kilos, 10 reps of that. I do 4 sets of that. So obviously I'm not doing a single leg squat in this one, just your regular squat. I'm not great at getting all the way down on these, but I kind of tend to have hip problems if I do, so I tend to just stick as far down as I can go comfortably. I'm still feeling it in the quads and stuff, so I'm still getting the workout in, and then I'll move on to other variations. So then these are half squats, so these are more geared towards, I suppose, building power in your running, which will obviously then contribute to making you a faster runner. So obviously I'm not getting as much depth in the kind of motion downwards on these, so I can do a heavier weight basically and still be able to get it back up nice and comfortably. So basically, yeah, kind of halfway towards a squat, and then you sort of want to power up after to get back into your standing position. So I was doing 100 kilos here and 10 sets of these, and I just did 3 sets of these. Obviously the legs are now kind of getting a bit more tired. So then moving on to calf raises. So this is obviously looking to avoid any issues, you know, in the Achilles and things like that. So these are an important one to do as well. So calf raises, I have a machine here for it, but you can also just, for example, put a dumbbell on your quads and do them that way. So 130 kilos here, 10 reps of that, and did 3 sets of these. So then after that we move on to deadlifts. I'm using the hex bar. I just find I get less of a pinch in my hip when I do this, but again, if I kind of do too heavy a weight, I do feel that in my hips, so I tend to just stick with a lower weight. So 80 kilos, 8 reps of this, and then 3 sets of that, and then I kind of move on later to do a single leg variation, which is a bit more impactful. After that I move on to jump squats. So grab a couple of dumbbells and basically get right down into a squat position, and as the exercise is called, yeah, just jump. Obviously trying to build power here again for running and building speed. So I do 14 kilos in each hand, so that's 28 kilos, 10 reps of this and 3 sets of this. So I always do this after the other squat variations. It's just to do a weight, it's probably a bit easier to do this later. Then moving on to those single leg deadlifts that I mentioned earlier. So I have a 20 kilo dumbbell in each hand, one leg at a time. Try to get that back leg up to around hip height, and then back down. So try to stay in control as much as I can. Sometimes the limiting factor with this can actually be the grip on the kettlebells. Obviously if you're doing 20 reps per set, yeah, it's quite a strain on the forearms actually, as well as your hamstrings from doing the deadlifts. But yeah, you really feel this one. You'll know whether you're getting down enough by the feeling in your hamstrings. So yeah, you can kind of tell if you're getting down enough. But anyway, it was 40 kilos, 10 sets, or 10 reps, sorry, on each leg, and then 3 sets of that. So overall, it's a pretty tough one. I tend to leave it towards the end of the session just to make sure that the legs aren't basically too fatigued to do anything else. So then to finish up, I do some Bulgarian split squats. So kind of get a bench, put the back leg on it, and get the front leg out in front there. Obviously try and make sure that the kettlebells are kind of in line with each other, and then yeah, basically just a Bulgarian split squat. So again, this is 40 kilos in each hand, 8 reps of this only. Like I was saying earlier, the forearms are actually kind of on fire at this point, so it is hard to hold them for longer. So yeah, 8 reps on each, and again, you're feeling this in the legs at that point anyway. 3 sets of that, and then that's pretty much my leg day wrapped up. And yeah, like I said, I do this after a long run on a Sunday, and then next day is a recovery.